You won't believe what Raven Black found in her apartment. The stalker who'd been terrorizing her for months had been living in her walls, watching her sleep every night. It started with small things that Raven Black initially dismissed as exhaustion from her demanding caseload. Her emerald green eyes would catch glimpses of movement in her peripheral vision, but when she turned, nothing was there. Coffee cups she didn't remember making appeared on her kitchen counter. Books were found open to pages she hadn't read. "You're working too hard," she told herself, running fingers through her black hair as she reviewed case files late into the night. Paranoia comes with the job. But paranoia became terror when Raven found the photographs. Hidden inside her morning newspaper were dozens of pictures of herself, sleeping, showering, working at her desk. The photos were taken from impossible angles, as if the photographer had been inside her apartment, moving freely while she was unaware. Her hands trembled as she studied the images. Some showed her in her bedroom, others captured her private moments in the bathroom. Most disturbing were the close-up shots of her face while she slept, taken from just inches away. The stalking escalated with each passing day. Messages began appearing in her apartment, words written in the steam on her bathroom mirror, notes tucked inside her refrigerator, personal items rearranged in patterns that spelled out cryptic warnings. The intruder seemed to move through her home like a ghost, leaving no trace except psychological terror. "I know you're reading this, Raven," one note read. "You're even more beautiful when you're scared." Raven installed security cameras, changed her locks, and hired a security company to sweep her apartment. The cameras captured nothing. The locks showed no signs of tampering. The security sweep found no evidence of intrusion. Yet the stalking continued with increasing intensity. Her private case files were rearranged, with new notes added in handwriting that wasn't hers. Her computer showed search histories she hadn't created. Most terrifying, her phone contained photos she hadn't taken. Images of herself working, eating, even sleeping, all shot from inside her own apartment. "He's watching me constantly," Raven whispered, her green eyes darting to every shadow in her home. But how? The breakthrough came when Raven heard footsteps above her bedroom at 3 a.m. The sound was soft but unmistakable. Someone walking in the attic space above her apartment. But Raven lived on the top floor of her building. There should be nothing above her except roof access that had been sealed for years. Grabbing her flashlight and lock-picking tools, Raven climbed to the building's roof and found the sealed access panel had been carefully modified. Someone had created an entrance that appeared undisturbed from the outside but opened easily from within. Inside the cramped attic space, Raven's flashlight revealed a horror that explained months of psychological terror. The stalker had constructed a complete living space in the walls and attic above her apartment. Makeshift rooms connected by narrow crawl spaces that allowed movement throughout the building without detection. The space contained camping equipment, food supplies, and monitoring equipment, sophisticated enough to track every sound from her apartment below. But the most disturbing discovery was the shrine. An entire wall was covered with photographs of Raven, thousands of images documenting her daily life over the past year. Pictures of her leaving for work, shopping for groceries, meeting with clients, exercising at her gym. More intimate photos showed her in her apartment, unaware she was being watched through tiny cameras hidden in air vents and light fixtures. The shrine included personal items stolen from her apartment. Clothing, jewelry, even her toothbrush, arranged around the photographs like religious artifacts. Journals filled with detailed observations about her habits, preferences, and daily routines revealed an obsession that bordered on worship. Day 312, one entry read in careful handwriting. Raven changed her shampoo brand. She seems to prefer vanilla scents. I've ordered the same brand so we can share this connection. The stalker wasn't just watching her. He was living parallel to her life, matching her preferences and routines as if they were partners in an intimate relationship that existed only in his diseased mind. The confrontation came when Raven realized she wasn't alone in the attic. A soft sound behind her made Raven spin around, her flashlight illuminating a figure crouched in the shadows. The man was thin and pale, with wild hair and eyes that reflected an unhealthy obsession. "You weren't supposed to find this place, Raven," he said, his voice eerily calm. "This ruins everything." "Who are you?" Raven demanded, her hand moving toward the pepper spray in her pocket. "I'm Marcus," he replied as if she should know the name. "I've been taking care of you for so long. Living above you, protecting you, making sure you're safe." Marcus Webb had been her apartment building's maintenance worker 2 years earlier, fired for inappropriate behavior that now made terrifying sense. He had used his building access to create his hidden living space, turning her home into his personal hunting ground. "You've been living in my walls for 2 years?" Raven asked, horror and disgust battling in her voice. "Living for you," Marcus corrected. "Everything I do is for you. When you're happy, I'm happy. When you're sad, I comfort you, even though you don't know it." The realization that Marcus believed they were in a relationship made the situation exponentially more dangerous. "I know everything about you," Marcus continued, moving closer. "Your favorite foods, your sleeping schedule, the way you talk to yourself when you're working, we're perfect together." "We're not together," Raven said firmly. "This is stalking. This is a crime." Marcus's expression changed, showing the unstable psychology beneath his delusion. "You don't understand yet, but you will. I've been patient, but it's time for us to be together properly." When Marcus lunged forward, Raven realized that discovery hadn't ended her nightmare. It had triggered the final, most dangerous phase of his obsession. The escape required all of Raven's investigative skills and survival instincts. Raven used her flashlight as a weapon, striking Marcus and creating enough space to reach the attic exit. But Marcus knew the building's hidden spaces better than she did, using maintenance tunnels and crawlways to cut off her escape routes. The chase through the building's walls became a deadly game of cat and mouse, with Marcus using his intimate knowledge of the structure to trap Raven in the same spaces where he had been watching her. "You can't leave me, Raven," Marcus screamed through the walls. "We belong together." "I know you better than you know yourself." Raven's escape came when she managed to reach a main hallway and alert other tenants. Police found Marcus in his attic lair, surrounded by evidence of 2 years of obsessive stalking and illegal surveillance. The investigation revealed the true scope of Marcus's psychological invasion. Hidden cameras in Raven's apartment had recorded her most private moments. Audio equipment had captured her phone conversations, private thoughts spoken aloud, even her dreams when she talked in her sleep. Marcus had been living as a parasite in her life, feeding off her privacy and intimacy while constructing an elaborate fantasy relationship in which they were connected by his violations of her autonomy and security. The psychological damage was extensive. Raven had to move apartments, undergo therapy, and rebuild her sense of safety in her own space. The knowledge that someone had been watching her sleep, shower, and live her private life for years created trauma that required professional healing. Raven Black, the emerald-eyed private investigator who spent her career uncovering other people's secrets, learned that the most terrifying mysteries are the ones happening in our own homes, perpetrated by people who transform love into obsession and care into control. Marcus's arrest revealed that the most dangerous predators are often the ones who convince themselves they're protecting us, while they're actually destroying our peace, privacy, and security. Raven Black's stalker nightmare reminds us that our homes should be sanctuaries, not hunting grounds. Her story shows us that the most terrifying violations come from people who mistake obsession for love and surveillance for care. If Raven Black's horror story shocked you, subscribe to The Dark Truth for more psychological thrillers and survival stories. Hit like if you believe everyone deserves privacy and safety in their own space. Tell us in the comments, how can we protect ourselves from hidden surveillance and stalking? Share Raven's story with someone who needs to remember that true love respects boundaries. Until next time, remember that the people who claim to love us most shouldn't make us feel least safe.